Late one rainy evening, in a discreet private bank in Zurich, a man in a faded canvas jacket walks through the heavy mahogany doors. To an untrained passerby, he looks like a retired high school teacher who has spent his life clinging to a modest pension. In reality, he is a third-generation heir to a European industrial fortune worth over $4.2 billion. His worn leather shoes cost more than a mid-sized sedan, yet they bear no logos, no gleaming buckles, and no recognizable design signatures. This deliberate erasure of visible wealth is not an eccentric quirk of the eccentric few. It is a calculated, systematic strategy known in high finance circles as stealth wealth or the art of strategic poverty. For decades, the public imagination has been dominated by the spectacle of the nouveau riche. We expect extreme affluence to broadcast itself through diamond-encrusted timepieces, roaring Italian supercars and sprawling glass mansions perched on hillside cliffs. Yet at the absolute apex of the global economic pyramid, the real power moves in total silence. The top 0.1% are actively shedding the armor of ostentation, trading flashiness for an invisible cloak of ordinary mediocrity. Why would individuals who possess the financial resources to buy small nations choose to dress like middle-class suburbanites? To understand this paradox, one must look beyond economics and peer into the cold mechanisms of evolutionary psychology, geopolitical security, and social dynamic warfare. The primary driver behind this behavioral shift is the acute realization that visible wealth is no longer an asset, it has mutated into a massive liability. In an era marked by rising populism, hyperconnectivity, and algorithmic scrutiny, flashing money invites predatory risk. High net worth individuals are increasingly targeted by sophisticated extortion schemes, frivolous litigation, and aggressive tax authorities seeking public scapegoats. By stripping away external indicators of prosperity, the ultra-wealthy effectively reduce their surface area for attack. Consider the physical reality of modern high-density urban environments. A billionaire walking down a street in London, San Francisco, or Sao Paulo wearing a $200,000 Richard Mille watch is broadcasting a beacon to organized criminal networks. By dressing in a plain gray cotton t-shirt and nondescript denim, the same individual dissolves into the background noise of the metropolis. They trade the cheap thrill of public admiration for the ultimate luxury, uncompromised personal safety, and absolute mobility. This dynamic extends far beyond physical security into the realm of financial self-defense. In the world of high-stakes deal-making, showing your financial hand before the negotiation even begins is an act of tactical suicide. When a visibly wealthy founder steps into a boardroom, vendor prices double, legal fees escalate, and counterparties immediately raise their baseline demands. By projecting an image of modest means, the stealth wealthy retain the upper hand, allowing them to anchor negotiations on cold operational value rather than their perceived ability to pay. There is also a profound sociological transformation taking place within the upper echelons of modern capitalism. The historical function of luxury goods was to signal membership in an exclusive social class to strangers. However, as mass production and easy consumer credit democratize access to counterfeit and entry-level luxury items, traditional status symbols lost their signaling efficiency. Today, anyone with a credit card can lease a luxury sedan or purchase a logo-type emblazoned handbag. When a signal becomes accessible to the masses, it loses its value to the elite. The ultra-wealthy respond not by buying bigger logos, but by adopting counter-signaling, a concept formalized by game theory. Counter-signaling occurs when high-status individuals intentionally adopt low-status markers to demonstrate that their position is so secure that they do not need to prove it. A tech founder wearing a scuffed pair of sneakers to a venture capital pitch is sending a potent message. My product is so revolutionary that I do not need to wear a suit to impress you. This phenomenon has given rise to the quiet luxury movement, where hyper-expensive items are designed specifically to be unrecognizable to the untrained eye. A $3,000 cashmere sweater crafted without a single visible brand. Mark communicates only to those who possess the cultural capital to recognize the specific weave and drape. It creates a secret handshake among the global elite. They build a private language of status that flies completely under the radar of the general public and the media. Beyond social mechanics, the psychological burden of managing public perception plays a monumental role in this strategic withdrawal. The ultra-wealthy are hyper-aware of the resentment generated by extreme economic inequality in the post-2008 financial landscape. In a hyper-connected world fueled by social media, public displays of opulent consumption trigger swift social backlash and public outrage. By adopting an aura of everyday simplicity, the top 0.1% insulate themselves from the moral judgment of a society wrestling with inflation and wage stagnation. They understand that in the current socio-political climate, conspicuous consumption is viewed not as a triumph of individual success, but as evidence of systemic extraction. Pretending to be ordinary is a defensive mechanism against public hostility and regulatory interference. Furthermore, stealth wealth serves as a crucial filter for genuine human relationships. At extreme levels of capital accumulation, every social interaction becomes tainted by the suspicion of ulterior motives. When your wealth precedes you, every friendship, romantic interest, and professional association runs the risk of being transactional. By hiding their financial status, affluent individuals test the authenticity of those around them. They seek to be valued for their character, intellect, and personal traits, rather than the size of their liquidity reserves or investment portfolios. Living under the radar allows them to build authentic social networks that are not rooted in financial parasitism. This psychological dynamic is particularly pronounced among generational wealth families who have held capital across multiple centuries. Old money cultures historically view the loud, extravagant spending of the newly rich with deep distaste and anxiety. For old money dynasties, capital preservation is not merely about financial returns. It is about dynastic continuity and cultural survival. Flashy spending attracts unwanted tax scrutiny, family feuds, and public scandals that can destroy centuries of accumulated fortune in a single generation. They instill a culture of quiet stewardship, teaching heirs that money is a tool for quiet influence and long-term security, not a prop for personal vanity. To truly grasp the mechanics of stealth wealth, one must analyze the infrastructure that makes this invisible lifestyle possible. The ultra-rich do not merely change their clothes, they restructure their entire operational footprint. Their legal assets are held within multi-layered corporate structures, blind trusts, and offshore foundations that erase their names from public registries. They do not own real estate in their personal names. Their homes are registered under anonymous, limited liability companies with nondescript corporate titles. Their physical possessions are curated with surgical precision to look mundane while offering unparalleled performance and security. They drive unassuming, mass-market utility vehicles that have been secretly retrofitted with bulletproof glass, reinforced chassis, and advanced communication systems. They dine at private clubs tucked away behind unmarked doors in historical city centers, completely invisible to the street-level observer. Their true luxury lies in the total absence of friction, public trace, or unwanted attention. This paradox creates a dual reality in modern global society. On one side, we witness a hyper-visible influencer culture that bankrupts itself, attempting to project an image of extreme affluence through rented private jets and borrowed designer wear. On the other side, the true owners of global capital move through the world in total anonymity, quietly consolidating power, buying real estate, and securing generational assets while wearing $10 cotton shirts. The contrast reveals a fundamental truth about modern economic hierarchy. Those who need to perform wealth rarely possess it, while those who truly possess it spend enormous energy trying to hide it. As we look toward the future, the trend of stealth wealth is only set to accelerate. With the rise of artificial intelligence, facial recognition, and pervasive digital tracking, in a world where privacy is becoming the ultimate luxury item, visible wealth is a vulnerability that few rational actors can afford to maintain. The top 0.1% have realized that the highest form of power is not the ability to command public attention, but the total freedom to remain unseen while pulling the levers of the world. The shift towards stealth wealth ultimately forces us to redefine our understanding of capital, success, and human motivation. It suggests that true abundance does not seek validation from the crowd, it seeks total autonomy from it. In the final evaluation, pretending to be broke is not an act of deception or hypocrisy. It is the ultimate expression of financial dominance, a state where one owns so much of the world that they no longer have any desire to show it off. If this video gave you a new way of looking at wealth and human behavior, hit that like button and subscribe to Bite-Sized Psychology for more deep dives into the hidden psychology behind everyday life. See you in the next one.